Bob's Buddy, should you use it or not? So in today's video we're gonna discuss whether Bob's Buddy, which is basically a Hearthstone deck tracker from HSreplay, is worth it or not to play Battlegrounds. It has a bunch of features that are really helpful, so we're gonna discuss the pros but also the few cons that it has. First of all, the pros, so what's good about it? The turn counter. It's really easy to use, it shows the turns, and it becomes especially useful after 10 gold, because in the early game we can talk about the 6 gold turn or the 7 gold turn, but you can't talk about the 12 or 13 gold turn. So that way you know how long a game is dragging on and how far you are in the game already. The turn counter can also be an indicator for power spikes. Back when Eudora was meta, you know that on turn 4 she's gonna get a golden unit and get really strong. Right now you know that on turn 5, which is 7 gold, most people level, and Rafam has a weak turn because Rafam just levels hero powers and doesn't buy a single unit. So using the turn counter you can know when people level, when people get strong or spike, and have that indicator to play around them. Second thing that's really good about Bob's Buddy is that it shows all the units on every single tier. It also removes the units that are banned from the game. So in this game dragons are not in, so it doesn't show dragons, which helps a lot. So that way if you find a triple, you know if you have to level to tier 4 or 5 or what unit you should be looking for. For example, if you're playing Murlocs, you know that you should look for a tier 5 because that's where Bran is, that's where Begurgle is. If you play dragons, you know that you should level to tier 5 because on tier 6 is the Kaligos and the Nadina. So this is a very good indicator if you don't know all the units on every tier. The third thing that's really good is the win rate that it shows on the top. It's probably the main reason why people are using Bob's Buddy, because it shows you if you get scammed or if you can scam people. More important, it shows how strong you are. If you're 80% favored but you lose the fight, you know that you're strong and you just got scammed, so you can still level. And the other way around, if you win the 20% while you should lose 80% of the time, then you know that you're weaker than you actually are and you're not supposed to win these fights, so then you should probably play a bit safer. So it becomes a good indicator whether you're ahead in the game or behind and how strong you are objectively. Also, in a 1v1 situation in the late game, it might help you figure out what the best way is to beat your opponent. If you change your positioning around or put a zap in or a ghoul and you see your win rate change, then you know whether you're on the right path or when you're doing things completely wrong. So win rate is probably the biggest feature. And now the last one that I want to talk about is board state. It remembers what your opponents played that you faced earlier. So this is really good to know when you have to play around a Divine Shield Taunt or a Cleave. You know what your Merznont is gonna get you, you know if you need a Ghoul or a Zap. So this is probably one of the more helpful features if you have a bad memory. Now I'm gonna talk about the very few cons that it has. First of all, you get really used to it. You become almost dependent on Bob's Buddy if you use it all the time. I remember there was a day when Bob's Buddy was offline for a reason. I think there was an update going on and people lost their minds. It was really hard for them to play the game without seeing win rates and without having the help of Bob's Buddy. So if you become too dependent on it, then in the future if anything ever happens, or if you're playing on another computer that doesn't have it, you might perform less good. The second con is that you might become too result oriented. So you see the win rate and you know whether you're getting scammed or not and you know how strong you are, but that might make you observe the board space and the fight less. I noticed that as soon as I don't see the win rates, I look much more at the fight itself and why I lost it or why I won it. Do I need a bigger unit? Do I need a poison? Did he just attack well? So I think not seeing the win rate definitely makes you pay more attention to what's actually going on. Now, why I personally play without it? I've played without it for a while and I'm still able to get top 100 on leaderboard, so it's not necessary to use it. But I play without it because maybe tournaments in the future become a thing. Now this is mainly for the top 1%, but in tournaments maybe you might not be able to use Bob's Buddy. Who knows? So I already play without it, I can play without it perfectly fine, and if I ever play with it, I guess I'll have an advantage. Second reason is that it sharpens my skills and it trains my memory. I like a bit of a challenge. I feel like it's too easy to use Bob's Buddy and I want to train my memory more, so I try to memorize every board state of everyone that I faced. And skill sharpening, it basically gives me more game sense and I become more aware of things. I know all the units on all the tiers, so I feel like it just makes you more comfortable with the game overall. So my conclusion is Bob's Buddy is good, use it. So Bob's Buddy is a really good tool that you can use to get better at the game. It has so many utilities that are so helpful. Most people play with it and for a very good reason. So I definitely recommend it, but don't feel bad if you don't want to play with it, or if you like a bit of a challenge and really want to get very good at the game at its pure core. and train your memory and stuff like that, you can definitely play without it. Just do whatever you prefer, whatever you will have most fun with, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope it was helpful. If it was, please consider subscribing to see more. I stream on Twitch every day as well, I would love to see you pop in and say hi. And have a good day. I'll see you around. Bye.